I was always drawn to mysteries, especially the ones that whispered of the unknown. So when I heard about the staircase in the field, it was like a siren's call I couldn't resist. "Come on, Linda, this is crazy," my brother Robert said, shaking his head as I excitedly told him about my plan to explore the staircase. "You've been reading too many of those weird history books." I rolled my eyes at him. "It's not crazy, Rob. It's an adventure waiting to happen." Rob scoffed. "More like a disaster waiting to happen. You're going to get yourself killed." But I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something significant about that staircase. It stood there in the middle of the field, an enigma waiting to be unraveled. And I was determined to be the one to do it. After much debate, I finally decided to apply for access to the staircase. Rob tried to talk me out of it, but I wasn't about to let his skepticism hold me back. A few days later, I received word that my application had been approved. I was granted access to the staircase, but with a warning that sent shivers down my spine. "They say that everyone who's ever climbed those stairs has disappeared without a trace," Rob said, his voice low with concern. "You need to be careful, Linda. This isn't some harmless adventure." I brushed off his warnings, eager to finally see the staircase up close. As I approached the field, I could feel a strange pull in my chest, drawing me closer to the mysterious structure. When I arrived, I was met by a stern-faced sergeant who briefed me on the strange phenomena surrounding the staircase. Silhouettes of creatures fighting in the distance, inexplicable weather patterns, and an overwhelming urge to climb the stairs. I nodded along, trying to hide my excitement as I signed the document that essentially said I was on my own. I was ready to face whatever mysteries lay ahead. As I stepped closer to the staircase, I could feel the pull growing stronger, like a magnetic force tugging at my very soul. With each step, the world around me seemed to blur, until all I could see was the staircase looming before me. And then, without hesitation, I began to climb. As I ascended the staircase, my mind raced with excitement and curiosity, eager to uncover the mysteries that lay ahead. But then, as if struck by a bolt of lightning, a sudden moment of clarity washed over me, and I found myself rushing downward, my heart pounding in my chest. Reaching the ground, I collapsed to my knees, gasping for breath as I tried to make sense of what had just happened. Rubbing my eyes, I looked up and saw it, a swirling hurricane looming ominously in the distance, seemingly unnoticed by the soldiers stationed nearby. "It's like something out of a nightmare," I muttered to myself, my voice trembling with unease. As quickly as it had appeared, the hurricane vanished, leaving me shaken but determined to press on with my investigation. Turning my attention to the area surrounding the staircase, I meticulously examined every detail, hoping to uncover clues that might shed light on its enigmatic presence. That's when I noticed it, a series of faded letters etched into the ground beneath the staircase, obscured by layers of dirt and grime. Struggling to make out the words, I furiously scribbled down the partial inscription in my notebook, "Eerie." My heart pounding in my chest, I pondered the significance of the mysterious inscription when suddenly, piercing screams echoed through the air, drawing my attention towards the soldiers. My blood ran cold as I watched the shadowy figures of creatures and men locked in a fierce battle, their haunting cries filling the night. Before I could react, the last of the silhouettes crumbled to the ground, and the creatures turned their attention towards me, their dark forms advancing with terrifying speed. Paralyzed with fear, I braced myself for the inevitable onslaught, but to my astonishment, they vanished into thin air before they reached me. As the echoes of their disappearance faded into the night, I felt a strange sensation wash over me, a trance-like state that compelled me to continue climbing the staircase, despite my growing sense of dread. With each step, the world around me blurred into obscurity, and I found myself enveloped in a thick fog, the distant tolling of bells echoing in my ears. "This is what they warned me about," I whispered to myself, my voice barely audible over the rising wind. "But I can't resist the urge to see what lies at the top." With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, I pressed onward, determined to uncover the truth behind the staircase in the field. As I continue my ascent, a wave of dizziness washes over me, and I feel my stomach churn with nausea. Leaning over the side of the staircase, I prepare to vomit, but before I can, I spot something approaching from below, accompanied by a faint whining sound. My nausea vanishes instantly as my eyes lock onto the figure drawing near. What in the world is that? I can't make out its features clearly, but I can feel a sense of dread creeping over me. The figure begins to take shape, a red face with hollow, black eyes, its mouth gaping open as if emitting the eerie whining sound. I'm frozen in terror as it draws closer, and I can see something flickering within its gaping maw: fire, horror, unspeakable torment. Then, in a horrifying instant, the figure passes right through me, flooding my senses with a nightmarish vision of hell itself. I witness grotesque creatures tormenting damned souls, rivers of magma engulfing the wretched, and monstrous beings feasting on the agony of the damned. The vision is brief, but it leaves me shaken to my core, desperate to escape this infernal nightmare. With trembling limbs, I begin my descent back to the ground, but to my horror, the staircase has vanished. There's no way down. I'm trapped in this nightmarish realm, with only the option to ascend further into the unknown. Regret gnaws at me, but I have no choice but to press on, to discover where this hellish staircase leads. As I climb higher, I'm assailed by strange sights and sounds. I catch sight of my brother Robert standing on the staircase, his expression blank as he gazes at me. "Robert!" I call out, my voice echoing through the empty expanse. "What are you doing here?" But he offers no response, simply turning to the side and letting himself fall from the staircase. I scream in horror, rushing to the spot where he vanished, but there's no sign of him below. Whispers fill the air around me, sending shivers down my spine. I'm trembling with fear, but I force myself to turn and confront whatever lurks behind me. There it is, the figure with the red face and hollow eyes, its gaze fixed upon me. I feel a chill run down my spine as it gestures toward the heavens with its long, red arms, urging me onward. With a sense of urgency, I continue my ascent, desperate to escape the gaze of the horrifying creature. Glancing back, I see it still standing there, a silent sentinel in this nightmarish realm. I try to shake off the unease that grips me, but once again, I find myself ensnared in a trance-like state, compelled to keep climbing into the unknown. I couldn't tell how long the trance had held me captive, but when I regained consciousness, I found myself in a place unlike any I'd ever seen before. Everything around me seemed to ripple with waves of color, and eerie gray hues dominated the landscape. Although I could hear voices, I couldn't see anyone or anything. As I cautiously explored my surroundings, I stumbled upon familiar faces: William and Nora, individuals who, like me, had been drawn to study the staircase. But they looked different, their features distorted and unsettling. William's voice echoed through the strange realm as he pointed toward me, labeling me as yet another foolish soul who had stumbled into this bizarre place. Fear gripped me as I hastily retreated. Should I have attempted to communicate with them? Doubt gnawed at me, but terror prevailed, urging me to flee. Ahead of me stood 3 doors, suspended in the void, with nothing but clouds below. Confusion and dread swirled within me as I pondered my next move. Where am I? I muttered to myself, the words lost in the ethereal expanse. Suddenly, an ominous voice reverberated through the air, declaring, "This is the end. Your fate is sealed." Trembling with apprehension, I acted on instinct and hurled open the nearest door, plunging into the unknown. The room I entered resembled my own living space. Familiar furnishings surrounded me: the cozy couch, the curtains my mother had sewn, the teapot on the stove. I could even hear the murmur of conversation, sounding eerily like my own voice and that of my brother, Robert. "Come on, Linda, this is crazy," Robert's voice rang out. As I approached the source of the conversation, I saw myself and Robert engaged in discussion. But a sense of foreboding washed over me, drowning out any semblance of comfort. Suddenly, our conversation took a sinister turn. My other self and Robert spotted me and charged toward me with unearthly speed, emitting a chilling shriek. I recoiled in horror as they collided with me, sending me crashing into the shelves, and darkness enveloped me once more as consciousness slipped away. Moments passed before I regained consciousness, the sound of boiling and the feeling of warmth flowing over me. I stumbled to my feet, rubbing my eyes to clear my vision. As the scene comes into focus, a wave of disbelief and sadness washes over me. Is this? I mutter, staring at the surreal landscape before me. It's like nothing I've ever seen, and yet, hauntingly familiar. Looking around, I notice the eerie similarities to the horrifying vision I glimpsed in the figure's gaping mouth. Was the staircase just an illusion, tricking mankind into believing there's a way to heaven? I ponder aloud. Was it all a simple trick, luring people to damnation? Tears stream down my cheeks, but they evaporate in the stifling heat of this forsaken place. I try to find another soul to talk to, but it's as if everyone here is trapped in their own private nightmare. No one looks up, no one seems human. It's like a scene from the worst nightmares imaginable. As I attempt to navigate this infernal landscape, someone jostles me from behind. "Hey!" I manage to yell, turning to confront the person who bumped into me. Their stare is vacant, their expression empty. "What?" they reply monotonously. "Did you want to go first?" Stunned, I struggle to find words. "What?" The person scoffs, a hint of a smile playing on their lips. "Welcome to eternity, sweetheart," they say, their voice devoid of emotion. "Find your seat. He'll come get you soon." Shaken, I refuse to comply. "Eternity," I repeat to myself, a chill running down my spine. But I can't stay here. I'm not ready to accept this fate. I've always strived to be good, to help others. I don't belong in this nightmare. "No one does," a sinister voice whispers behind me, and I feel a smile on the words. Turning, I come face to face with the red figure from the stairs. "Let me out!" I scream, desperation overtaking me. I grab a nearby metallic stick, its surface glowing red hot, and thrust it at the figure. But my efforts are futile. "Wait your turn," the figure replies calmly, unfazed by my desperation. All around me, the screams of torment echo, the stench of burning flesh overwhelming. "But not yet, my brother, my family and friends, my life," I muttered out in tears. "You belong here now."